This week, President Jacob Zuma surprised South Africans with a fourth cabinet reshuffle in nearly as many years. Now, we've seen a few changes, some unexpected, some welcome, and some down just a tad puzzling, to be honest. To take us through the reshuffle and what it means is Rapule Tabane, the Mail and Guardian's deputy editor and political editor. Rapule, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
So, Raps, there is this feeling that if it was purely on merit and competency, why is Angie still there? Why is she still holding on?
It's actually very interesting, and people believe that the reason why Minister Motshekga is still in a position is because she's the president of the Women's League, and the president does not want to annoy members of the Women's League. This week, I spoke to several people in government who have a knowledge of how this cabinet reshuffle came about, and like President Zuma, they were defending her. They were saying, actually, South Africans just hate her, but actually she's one of the best performers. And I think President Zuma, about 2 weeks ago, when he addressed editors as well, also made the same point. It looks to me like if there's a minister who will never be fired by this president, it's Minister Angie Motshekga, because so often there's been cost to, particularly around the textbook saga, and there's been many other reasons where it looked like she would go, but the president has just held on to her. And I think the president has just decided that's a line he will not cross it.
But just talking a little bit about what you said about the president responding to outcry and to outrage, we have seen that about Zuma. But I think a lot of people were quite surprised by the statement he released, responding to a bit of the consternation around the reshuffle. It came across as quite arrogant, where he said, I don't need to justify myself. I don't need to give reasons for what I've done. Now, perhaps what gets me is that why make the statement at all? What was the point of asserting the show of power that was so alienating to so many people?
I think, firstly, what we need to clear is that this is President Zuma's fourth cabinet reshuffle in like 4 years. And he's never had to explain any of those reshuffles before. We've come to know that he doesn't have to, but it's not necessarily that he's not bound not to. If he wanted to, he could. We can't complain any more than we have complained in the past. Although I think people really wanted reasons, because there's been so many reshuffles and there's never been reasons why we do this reshuffle. So people are trying to get a sense, are we doing this because we want to improve service delivery? Is this about elections next year, or what lies behind it?
Now, Raps, I have one last question for you from our readers, well, from a lot of our readers, because they all seem to say a similar thing. They all say that they wish the president would reshuffle himself. It was quite a common comment we had from our readers when we asked them for questions for you. Do you think public dissatisfaction with Zuma would likely sway the elections in any major way, or will the ANC receive their usual share of nearly 2/3 of the vote with Zuma at the helm in the next election?
In our editorial comment in the Mail and Guardian this week, we don't necessarily say the president must reshuffle himself. We also make the point that if you look at generally his new appointments, they are good people overall, including the deputy ministers. But the problem is that he has reshuffled so many times, and he doesn't give reasons. So people are no longer interested in this thing. They are not reassured. If he did them to send a message that he wants to improve how things are done and accelerate service delivery, people just don't get it anymore. I think next year's elections will be interesting. If you are asking for my opinion, I'll have to put my neck on the block and say I don't think the ANC will do as well as they did the last time when they received 65%. I think they'll definitely go down. The question is just by how much.